How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. A lot of borderline NBA players still happen to be in the league who many of you forgot about. You thought they were out the league for a couple years now? Well, guess again. I bet many of you forgotten about Trevor Ariza up until a couple weeks ago when he was traded to the Miami Heat and all of a sudden available to play after not suiting up for the Thunder. How weird is that? A lot of guys collecting their paychecks just sitting on the bench. I'm not talking about free agents here. I'm talking about players currently belonging to an NBA roster. With that said, let's take a look at 10 players who you most likely forgot about still in the NBA. Starting with Cristiano Felicio of the Chicago Bulls. Believe it or not, he's been the longest tenured Bull on the team since the 2015-16 season. The 28-year-old deep in the bench, averages under 2 points, 2 rebounds, played just 6 games this season. Another absolute travesty of a contract. 4 years, 32 mil, making 7.5 this season. The 5th highest paid guy on the team behind Saturansky, Young, Levine, and Porter. Never averaged more than 5.6 points in any year. Gar Forman giving him this type of money to somebody who's usually unavailable. A disaster of a contract. First 5 seasons, 31 games, 66, 55, 60, 22, and 6 games so far this year. I won't be shocked if he's out of the league after this season. MacLeod, Dellavedova, still only 30 years old, hasn't been relevant since he was teammates with LeBron in Cleveland. After winning the title in 2016, signed a 4-year $38 million deal with the Bucks, only to have a very limited role, hasn't made much noise since, no longer considered impactful since the 2017-18 season. Delly's averages of 4.4 points, 3.5 assists, 38% shooting, not the type of production we expected, yet to make his 2021 season debut. Now a very afterthought, deep in the bench guy on the Cavs. I don't expect him to get much playing time under the duel of Sexland. 57 games in 2020, averaged the career low 3.1 points. Don't expect much from him going forward. Jahlil Okafor, holding on to a roster spot for dear life for a couple years now, hasn't shown promise, continues to fall heavily since his rookie season. 12 games with the stinky Pistons, averages of 4 and 2. Shocking in the first place why Detroit signed so many big men this past free agency. The former 3rd overall pick is really one of the biggest busts in the 2010s era. A stud at Duke, the big had superstar potential with insane post move, talked about as a potential #1 pick before January of 2015 when the tables turned to Karl Towns. Now Okafor, 25 years old, was supposed to average at least 20 points a game. By this stage of his career, now just a guy who's on the bench, doesn't make a big impact, if any impact at all. Some thought he might end up overseas by now, but signed a 2-year deal worth $4 million. Not a big risk, made more money in his rookie season alone. Another guy who struggles to stay healthy, even if he does get a chance to play 53 games in year 1, followed by 50 games, 28, 59, 30 games, and just 12 games for Detroit past the halfway mark. Okafor will be remembered as a traditional big who's outdated for this era of basketball. Does one thing really well, that's posting up, but everything else very bad. Weak rebounder for his size, can't play D, can't move, can't shoot from the outside, had knee surgery back in February. Don't expect to hear much from him in the coming weeks or months. Justise Winslow, who everyone just about gave up on. Okafor's former teammate at Duke, viewed as a solid all-around player with defense, listed at 6'7" coming into the league, but closest to 6'4". Another guy who's injury prone. The Miami Heat experiment disappointing, averaged 9 points, 5.5 boards in 5 seasons in South Beach, played just 18 games in year 2, missed 14 and 16 the next 2, and only available for 11 games in 2020. Once viewed as a potential franchise player, now an afterthought. At this point, it would just be a bonus if Winslow was just available to play. Already has shoulder surgery, had a hip injury last season. Winslow's role with the Grizz to make a defensive impact and play hard. Made his season debut February 20th. First 12 games, average 8 points, 5 rebounds, 35% shooting. Doesn't appear to ever have a good jumper. Part of that 3-team trade, Miami used the 1-year rental on Jay Crowder and snatched Iguodala. Crowder played a big role on that finals team. Winslow wouldn't even have been available to play if he wasn't traded anyway, so the Heat have zero regrets getting rid of him. Made 13 mil last season, 13 mil this year, and a team option for 2022. Ed Davis, now on the Timberwolves, played for 7 total teams. The journeyman putting up 2.3 points, 5 rebounds, made little impact with Utah last season. The final year of his 2-year deal, making $5 million this year. The 31-year-old's best days behind him. The type of guy to play limited minutes and rebound. Not a good offensive player. His last real impactful season, 2019 with the Nets, didn't quite mesh with the Jazz. The Timberwolves, the worst team to play for in the entire NBA. Darius Miller, known for his time with the Pelicans, 5 seasons there, now with the OKC Thunder, off the bench, 10 minutes a game, 3.4 points. The 31-year-old's most memorable moment, not in the NBA, being part of that 2012 Kentucky title team, one of 7 guys to make the NBA. The 6th leading scorer that season, Miller was a senior when Anthony Davis was a freshman. His biggest NBA accomplishment, getting a 2-year, $14.2 million contract in summer 2019, making $7 million for OKC this season. His career remains to be seen after this year. Jabari Parker, the former number 2 overall pick, has been a disappointment on every level imaginable. Looked upon as the best scorer in his class and a guaranteed lock to be a 20+ point game guy for many years with a Paul Pierce / Carmelo Anthony type game. Even 36-year-old Melo now way better than Parker, and heated discussions on who would end up the better player between him and Wiggins. Even though Wiggins isn't as great as he should be, still way better than Parker ever will be though. Played just 25 games his rookie year, teared his ACL, the hype slowed down, then broke out in year 3, averaged 20 points, looked like an all-star some nights, but tore his ACL again on the same knee, became a shell of himself ever since. Combined with being a way below average defender, his offense is not good enough to make up for his poor defense. Milwaukee became better without him, unplayable with the Bucks. Parker was the guy who was supposed to be the Giannis of that team. Milwaukee let him walk in free agency for absolutely nothing, and they haven't regretted that decision since. 4 different teams and 3 seasons later, his hometown Bulls didn't want him neither. Neither did the struggling Wizards. Atlanta got rid of him for Dwayne Dedman. Parker can't help bad teams win games. Empty stats, one-dimensional, only played 3 games in 2021, limited minutes. His career's falling apart quickly. That's why many people already forgot about him, thinking he's out the league, which he might be in a few months. Dante Exum, another injury-prone lottery pick, the former 5th overall pick, still in the league after playing 82 games his rookie year, 66, followed by an ACL tear in the summer after his rookie season, missed his entire sophomore season, then 66 games, followed by 14, 42, 35. The Jazz made the best decision after trading him for the much improved Jordan Clarkson, a potential 6-man winner. Cleveland has had enough with the lack of production and unavailability. Exum traded him to the Rockets. The 25-year-old had too many big injuries in the past, won't make any impact with Houston. It's only a matter of time when he's out the league. Ersan Ilyasova, who just signed with the Utah Jazz, listed as 33 years old, perhaps he's even older, spent most of his career with the Bucks, averaged under 7 points each of the last 2 seasons. Lacks athleticism and foot speed, will be very limited trying to contend for a title. The 12-year vet will wear number 77 for the Jazz once he makes his debut. Udonis Haslem, who's still an NBA player at 40 years old, being so close to the Miami Heat organization, he can honestly be on a roster spot till he's 45 if he wanted. His leadership and experience in the locker room, a good figure for the young guys. Haslem used to be a solid starting power forward in the mid-2000s, hasn't averaged more than 4.2 points since the 2012 season. Since 2011-2012, averaged 3.8 points, 4.5 rebounds, played 0 games thus far as of 2021, might just play 1 if he feels like checking in. His talents were already non-NBA level 5 years ago, but 18 seasons later, pretty surreal for an undrafted player to still be in the league for this long. Which one of these NBA players did you truly forget was still in the league? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, current NBA history, and anything basketball that might interest you. So if you love the NBA, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much again. I truly appreciate your support. I love all of you. See you next time.